New merchandise in the Teespring store. Go check it out! Have you ever played a game that you felt like it had the potential to be something great and unique, but you felt like it was put into the wrong genre? That's me in Spellbreak. A quick and simplistic overview that even a squib could understand, Spellbreak is a battle royale with magic! Aside from all the mechanics we know has to exist to make a battle royale, Spellbreak sees mages wielding elemental gauntlets and runes in order to exile all other mages and reign supreme in a damaged world. Even though Spellbreak has all the tropes of battle royales, its theme of magic really helps it stand out in the place that matters most, the combat. This game Harry Pottered it and doesn't utilize guns whatsoever. Instead, mages have the ability to dual-wield elemental gauntlets, with their choice of a primary to start and the ability to pick up a secondary during the game. Aside from the fact that each gauntlet has different primary attacks and abilities, elements cause reactions with each other, causing powerful effects if done properly and at the right time. Attacks from anyone on the field, enemies, allies, and yourself can all react, so timing them properly is crucial so you don't screw over your teammates, since friendly fire does exist. One of the biggest offshoots from other BRs is that the game doesn't rely on an ammo reserve, instead going with a mana pool that can be increased with different items that can be picked up throughout the game. Damn near every basic ability uses mana. Primary and secondary attacks? Mana. Jump hovering? Mana. Spellbreak puts a big emphasis on vertical movement and resource management. So couple those with the facts that most gauntlets have relatively slow projectile speeds, and this game, from the biased standpoint of a hit scan player, suddenly becomes a lot more difficult. A lot of BRs have skills that can be transferred between each other, but that's not really the case with Spellbreak due to its unique systems. This is where the problems start. Hands down, the best thing about Spellbreak is its combat systems. It's a lot of fun once you get the hang of it, but getting the hang of it is the core of the problem. This is a recurring issue I have with battle royales, but Spellbreak doesn't really give new players a good way to actually learn the game that doesn't involve getting their bodies crushed by a giant flying rock. Oh, I was trying to get away from that! Fuck! No, it's another rock! No, God! I just got triple rocked! As of this video, this game has no real MMR matchmaking outside of gating players above level 23 into their own games. This current method doesn't do much and just incentivizes people to create Smurf accounts due to its free-to-play nature. The most time I put into Spellbreak was shortly after release, where no form of matchmaking existed. I ran into several lobbies filled with players that very clearly had hours upon hours of experience due to their participation in the closed beta. It becomes frustrating and demoralizing to attempt to learn a game where you face players that are experienced with a game that just publicly released. The game had no real way of getting consistent practice in. The tutorial is a tutorial, and the training range has no non-idle NPCs, which doesn't really help a player practice their aiming when in-game they'll be facing constantly jumping and flying opponents. I firmly believe this game's combat is being wasted on a battle royale, and I sometimes wonder if it was meant for another form of multiplayer. Enter Clash, Spellbreak's 9v9 team deathmatch mode. Working like every other team deathmatch, the goal is to reach a certain number of kills to win the match. You got respawns, you got constantly engaging fights, and you even have worse visual noise, but it's by far the best format to experience how fun the game could be. Additionally, respawn makes it so the game isn't as harsh to new players trying to improve their skills. There are many more chances for them to get the systems down pat, and in my battle royale disliking opinion, it's just more consistent fun than the frequent lulls of BR. However, when the game has two separate modes and not a large enough player base, populating both BR and Clash servers can be an issue. While Spellbreak launched with a relatively large player base, it has since hemorrhaged many of them. When the core game type requires a large population of players on just one server, it becomes a huge issue. Like a lot of games, Spellbreak had potential. I think it had a lot of potential, but I think it steered too hard into the wrong genre and came out too early. This game really needed to stay in the oven a little bit longer to get fundamental systems working that would help keep players around. hidden MMR to help balance matches, a better training range that can more accurately let players practice without requiring them to enter a BR match, and maybe an improvement to the visuals, as there are a few systems like the ping and the map dropping that could really use a glow up. I believe Spellbreak has been wasted on this continued fad chasing of Battle Royale. While there are improvements needed in other aspects such as visual variation, overall, the issue is the combat just doesn't belong in a Battle Royale, especially one that doesn't help new players learn its unique systems in a non-stressful way. Proletariat has stated they plan on continuing to make changes and even introduce PvE events in the future that tie into the lore. Maybe these future events will prove my point even further that this combat is more at home in a different type of game. Or maybe I'm just an unskilled projectile user that can't stack up against better magic casters. Thanks to Sean O. Mahoney and Julian Arnott for being Patreon donators. Special thanks to Damp Volcano and GTY200 for being my Patreon investors. You guys are awesome and really help keep the channel going.